Now it is better. अरहंत सिद्ध सूर उपाध्याय साधु सर्व अर्थ के प्रकाशी मांगलिक उपकारी है। तीन को स्वरूप जानी रागते भई जो भक्ति काय को नमाए स्तुति को उच्चारी है। धन्य धन्य तुम्ही से काज सब आज भयो कर चोरी बारंबार वंदना हमारी है। मंगल कल्याण सुख ऐसो हम चाहते हो मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। ओ मेरी ऐसी दशा जैसी तुम धारी है। So we will continue with our first chapter, and before that we will do the Manglacharan of Tattvat Sutra. मोक्ष मार्गस्य नेतारं पेतारं कर्म भूभृतां ज्ञातारं विश्वतत्त्वानां वन्दे तद्गुणलब्धये वन्दे तद्गुणलब्धये. So we'll continue our study on Tattvat Sutra, first chapter. This is a revision chapter. We have done it once, but again we are doing it because we had done that from the other book, and now we are doing from this Tattvat Madi Pradeep, written by Dr. Hukamchand Ji Bharel. So we were discussing 4 modes of explanation. It is also said Nikshep. So Nikshep is also said in English as categories of expression. So what are the tools to know the 7 fundamental elements? Praman and Nai. Praman is comprehensive, valid knowledge, and Nai is viewpoint. So the 2 tools to know the 7 fundamental elements, to know the 3 jewels, is comprehensive, valid knowledge and viewpoints. Okay, and the methodology of expressing it or the modes of explanation is called Nikshep. So all these 3 put together in Jinvani, we are able to understand what is being written by the Acharyas. Okay, so we have 2 tools, Praman and Nai. Praman, comprehensive knowledge, and views are the 2 tools, and to express those 2 tools we are using this Nikshep, the 4 modes of explanation which we were discussing in the last class. So what are these 4 modes of explanation? So the first one was Naam Nikshep, designation by name. Then Sthapna Nikshep, designation by representation. Then Dravya Nikshep, designation by substance. And the last one was Bhav Nikshep, designation by mode. These were 4. We also saw the definitions of each, and we were there on page number 31. Okay, 31, where we have just completed the definition of all the 4. From there onwards, we are going to study. I'll make you a co-host, Aditi. Okay. So this is the 5 pages that I had shared earlier last week. This is what we are going to continue now, and then from 35 page onwards, which I shared just now. So last week's 29 to 34, I think 34. Yeah. Yes. So we will understand all the four modes of explanation once more. What is yes, the four modes of explanation. Yes, 31. Yeah, here we are. Bus. Yes, yes. In this way, we constantly use these forms of nikshep in our everyday lives. So again, a quick recap. Assigning a name to a place, person or object without regard to its qualities or faults is called designation by name, naam nikshep. Establishing the representation of one thing in another, this is that, is known as designation by representation, sthapna nikshep. The third one was establishing the past and future modes in the present is called designation by substance. And the fourth one was establishing the presently existing object in its current mode is called designation by mode. Now we are going to further do the explanation. In this way, we constantly use these forms of nikshep in our everyday lives. Words from the Jain scriptures beautifully illustrate the use of all four types of nikshep within a single word jin. The verse is as follows. 1 minute. I will read the Hindi word. Ram jina jinama thavan jina puna jinanda padiyao. Dau jina jin jiva bhav jina samasanratha. What it means? When someone is named jinn without regard to possessing the actual qualities of a jinn. Jinn means Jinendra Bhagwan. It is an example of designation by name. Okay. So someone is simply named jinn without regard to possessing the actually qualities of a jinn. So what are the actual qualities of a jinn? He has destroyed all the four obscuring karmas and manifested infinite knowledge, infinite perception, infinite bliss, and infinite energy. Okay. So this is jinn. So now someone is named jinn, but he doesn't have these qualities of a jinn. Then it is called designation by name. Okay. In our day-to-day life, we have given names to each and every person and objects to identify those and to have you can say um, from the conventional point of view to have to run the day-to-day life. Okay. Now the second same gene word. Yeah.
But
Any
then
question?
we all call ourselves Jain, but we are not following uh,
all the rituals?
all the ideal ways of Jain Dharma.
It
Then
is not that. So it is not that. So
is it
everyone
Nam Nikshep?
started like this, everyone started like this, and we are in the process.
But then is it if we are not following it properly, till then is
Yes.
it Nam Nikshep?
Yeah. So from Nam Nikshep, anybody could be Jain. Even a non-Jain person could be a Jain. I know many Jain people whose titles are Jain, but they don't know nothing of Jain. Those are from Delhi side, north side. So couple of friends my said that I am Jain. My title is Jain, but we never follow the Jain religion. So those people are like that only. But having said that, this is called designation by name. Just to identify that person by Jain name, we are calling him Jain. It doesn't mean that he has to possess all the qualities of Jain. The second is when a jinn idol is consecrated, okay, by the Panch Kalyanak Pratishtha Matsav, okay, when a Jinnah idol is consecrated and established through installation rituals, it is Thapsna Jinn, designation by representation. So now, because of this consecrated ceremony, okay, the installation rituals, that idol of jinn is considered to be jinn itself. It considered to be Jinendra Bhagwan itself. Okay. Similarly, next page. When a soul has the potential to become a jinn due to his inherent capability or spiritual nature, it is Dravya jinn, designation by substance. And the last one, when a jinn is present and preaching in the divine preaching assembly, Samosaran, holy assembly, okay, it is Bhav jinn, designation by present state or mode. Okay. So now you can make out with one example, one word, they have applied all the four modes of explanation, and we can very well make out that these are the ways, these are the categories of expression. How do you express something? So we need some words, terminology to express those things, and Nikshep is doing exactly the same thing. Here it is being said that the Ratnatraya, the three gems, the three jewels, right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct, as well as the soul and other fundamental elements, not principles or substance, but elements. Okay. Yes. Elements should be, you can cancel the words principle or substances and you can write elements, fundamental elements. Soul, when we say soul and other substances, it means 6 substances. Okay. Soul, matter, medium of motion, medium of rest, space and time. Okay. When we say soul and other elements, then it is soul, non-soul, influx, bondage, stoppage, dissociation, liberation. So here we are talking about tattvas, that is elements. Okay. So you can correct if you want, otherwise you can do it later on. And
I am unable to do it on this PDF.
okay. Okay.
I'll try and correct it on my side, Jai Jinendra.
Okay, thank you. So, and other fundamental principles or substances, tattvas, should be understood and explained on the basis of these 4 niksheps. One should engage in the process of understanding and explaining them through this framework. By doing so, a true and clear understanding of these tattvas is formed. Nam, Sthapna, Dravya, Nikshep are subjects of the real viewpoint, Dravyarthik Nay, while Bhav Nikshep is the subject of the Paryarthik Nay, modification viewpoint. Okay. When one gains correct understanding of these Niksheps, then the conventional description of right belief and other components of the 3 jewels, Ratnatraya, as well as the soul and other elements, not substances, elements, begin to make true sense of light, true sense in light of these distinctions. Okay. So substance would be other elements only. Okay. So, so we have discussed already about the Nikshep. Now the 2 tools, what are the ways of knowing the 7 fundamentals? Here they will explain us 3 ways. One for the people who have very little interest. Okay. So for them, this is the tool, Praman and Nay. With these two tools, our purpose will be solved. Okay. Then second category is for those people who have medium level of interest. Okay. And who have got that level of knowledge also. For them, a second set of tools will be explained. And then there would be a third explanation which is for the people who have got very deep interest. For them, this is the third solution level, and that there also there are set of things that we will be explaining. So this is the first set of tools, Praman and Nyay. For us, people like us who has got very little knowledge, our Mati Shrut Gyan is not that developed. Okay. So for us, this is only going to serve the purpose. Okay. Praman and Nyay. Praman is valid comprehensive knowledge, and Nyay would be viewpoints. You can put comprehensive words in between. Okay. What is the means to know the three jewels and the fundamental elements such as soul, comma, etc. Soul, comma, etc. So soul, non-soul, influx, bondage, stoppage, dissociation and liberation. All the 7 fundamentals we have to cover. Okay. A proper answer to this question is given by the following sutra. Praman Nayar Adhigama. Okay. The knowledge of the 3 jewels and the fundamental elements like soul, etc. Again, etc. is not written. We have to add here. Soul, comma, etc. is attained through means of valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints. According to Abhinav Dharma Bhushan, take it further up. According to Abhinav Dharma Bhushan Yati's Nyay Deepika, only right knowledge is valid knowledge. Samyak Gyan Praman. Okay. Praman in Hindi means proven. What is proven? So whatever is proven is right knowledge. Okay. So the valid comprehensive knowledge is the right knowledge. Now, Mati Gyan, sensory knowledge, Shrut Gyan, scriptural knowledge, clairvoyance knowledge, then telepathy and omniscience. These 5 are all forms of right knowledge and are considered valid comprehensive knowledge. Okay. There is also Kumati Gyan, false sensory knowledge, false scriptural knowledge, false clairvoyance. So they are not valid comprehensive knowledge. Only these 5 are valid comprehensive knowledge because this is a part of right knowledge. However, Shrut Gyan is unique in that while being a form of Praman, it also functions as Nyay Gyan, knowledge from a partial viewpoint. So out of these 5 knowledge, valid comprehensive knowledge, the second one, scriptural knowledge, contains these viewpoints. Okay. Viewpoints are a part of scriptural knowledge. So initially we have perception, darshan upyog, then we have Mati Gyan, sensory knowledge, and if we go further deep, then we will have Shrut Gyan, scriptural knowledge. And in that scriptural knowledge, these viewpoints are applied. And by applying viewpoints, we can know one aspect of the total thing. Okay. So one time you know this aspect, the next time you know this aspect, the next time you know this aspect. So like that, you will have knowledge of the complete object. That is called comprehensive knowledge. So comprehensive knowledge is nothing but a total of total viewpoints. All the viewpoints put together is called comprehensive knowledge. And viewpoints only defines one part of the total object. Okay. He will define one part of the total object and rest are ignored. Okay, it is not complete absence, it is just being ignored. We are not discussing that part, only the highlighted part is being discussed. Now supposing the comprehensive knowledge of a substance, okay, where there is substance, attributes, modification all put together. So the comprehensive knowledge will not focus on one part, it will show at a glance all the three. But while applying viewpoint, we can focus on the substance part. At other times, we can focus on the modification part and check how much purity is developed, how much is left over, what is the way, everything will be from the modification point of view. But when you look at from the substance point of view, you are seeing the complete thing, Paripurn Paramatma. Okay, so substance viewpoint is very important for us. Okay, we should focus on the substance viewpoint. Okay, at times we can always look at modification viewpoint also, because if we don't look at modification viewpoint, we will not able to assess how much purity we have developed, how much is left over, what is to be done, all these we will get to know from the modification point of view. But when we want to focus, we have to focus only on the substance viewpoint. So comprehensive knowledge will show everything. It will show substance also, modification also simultaneously. But the viewpoint will focus on one of the things. Okay. So now I hope you have understood the uh, uh, valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoint. The canonical statement Srut Vikalp Naya affirms this, that the various interpretations derived from Srut Gyan, scriptural knowledge, are known as Nayas, various interpretations. Okay, so it will only describe a part. It will focus on a part, and everything else at that point of time is ignored, but not completely absent. Okay, so similarly, you will know part, and when you sum it up, you can know the whole substance, and then your knowledge is called valid comprehensive knowledge. A question arises in the sutra Praman Adhigama. Knowledge is attained through Praman and Nai. Shouldn't the word Nai come before Praman? Before Praman? Because according to the rules of Sanskrit grammar, now this description is slightly boring. There is no logic to discuss all this, because this is something we are discussing about the literature. Why in literature this is mentioned first and next. As far as the nature of things is concerned, it's very little significance of this, but we will just read through. Okay, if you don't understand, don't put in so much of attention to this, because according to the rules of Sanskrit grammar, the word with few syllables of or matras, metrical units, should be placed first. Since Nai has fewer matras than Praman, by grammatical rule it should precede. But here we have highlighted Praman purposely. Why? The explanation is given here. The answer is, according to the grammatical rule, पूज्य को पहले रखना चाहिए. That which is more revered or worthy of respect is placed first. Hence, the word Praman is positioned before Nai in the aphorism. Praman is more venerable than Nai because Praman Gyan, valid knowledge, comprehensive knowledge, refers to right knowledge, and that comprehends the entirety. Okay, just now I explained entirety, sarvades, of an object or reality. In contrast, Nai Gyan, partial viewpoint, is right knowledge that comprehends only a part of that reality. Okay, next page. It is also said, Sakala Des Pramana Adina Vikala Desho Naya Dina. Complete knowledge, undivided knowledge of reality is under the domain of Praman Gyan, while partial or divided understanding is the domain of Nai Gyan. Okay. Question. But Acharya Devsen in his Srut Bhavna Deepak Nai Chakra establishes conventional viewpoint as more venerable and real viewpoint as most venerable. So we have three kinds of degrees, good, better, best. Okay. So here it said conventional viewpoint is more venerable and real viewpoint as most. So real viewpoint, that Nischay is more venerable. Yet here you are saying that Praman is more venerable. How can both be true? So Acharya Devsen's statement is as follows. So we are skipping the Sanskrit part. We are just understanding the English version. Doubt. If that is the case, then both Nayas would attain reverence only in a general sense. Clarification. No, it is not so. Because conventional viewpoint is more venerable while real point is most, more and most. So which is greater? Most is greater, right? Doubt. Why is it that conventional viewpoint, which is defined by characteristics of valid comprehensive knowledge and which encompasses conventional, real and both, and thus has broader scope, still not considered more venerable? Clarification. No, it is not so, because conventional viewpoint is more venerable while real viewpoint is most venerable. Again doubt. Why is it that conventional viewpoint, which is defined by the characteristics of valid knowledge and which encompasses, this is, I think, repetition. Okay, so I am reading the clarification. No, it is not most venerable, because even the conventional viewpoint characterized by valid knowledge cannot transcend the standpoint of Nai in relation to the self, that is our soul. That is as follows. This is so because even though it includes the real, it does not include association with other perspective. And in the absence of such exclusion, it becomes impossible to restrain the activity of the mind characterized by conventional constructs. That is the web of psychic activity, Vikalp Jal. Therefore, it is inherently incapable of establishing the soul in pure knowledge consciousness. Okay. So to know the soul, we have to take shelter of the real viewpoint. Conventional viewpoint cannot lead us to the experience of the soul. Okay. It is further stated that the real, by bringing about the experience of oneness, okay, ekatva, establishes the soul in the consciousness that is of the nature of knowledge. It produces supreme bliss, Paramanand, and leads to the state of freedom from attachment and aversion. Having accomplished all these, it then withdraws on its own. In this way, it transcends. Next page. It transcends the soul beyond the limits of Nai-based standpoints. Okay. So conventional, then we go to real, and then again we also discard real and transcends the soul beyond the limit of this viewpoint. Okay. For this reason, it is considered the most venerable. Okay. So, real point is more venerable than the conventional point. But having said that, ultimately you have to transcend the, having accomplished all these, it then withdraws on its own. Then real point also goes away. And when the experience emerges, there is no viewpoint. That we already read in Chedala, sixth Dal. At the time of self-realization, at the time when you are experiencing your own soul, there is no thought activity, there is no valid knowledge, there is no viewpoints, there is no nikshep, nothing, only the experience. The moment we come into the vikalp or the psychic activity, psychic thoughts, that is the time we come out of experience. So long we are experiencing, we don't want anything in between, only the pure eternal bliss that we are experiencing. Okay. So from conventional to real, and then living real also, we get to the point of self-realization. This is the process. Always this would be the process. Okay. In the Nai Chakra, now here one paragraph is missing. I am sharing that paragraph one by one. So here one paragraph is missing. I am sharing that paragraph. Yes. So this is the paragraph I have shared in the WhatsApp group. Okay. And then one more paragraph. Yes. These both are on page 34. Fine. So the first paragraph we are reading now. So after this, there is one paragraph missing, which I am reading just now. Considering all the evidence, it is found that Acharya Akalang Dev in the Rajvartik refers to aphorism Praman Nay Adigima, Nayar Adigama, in which Praman is placed first in the sutra based on the greatness of the subject matter. Okay. So subject matters, because of the greatness of the subject matter, Praman is placed in the first place and then the Nai comes. Okay. So it is justified. So the Praman is considered the most venerable. And in Shrut Bhavan Deepak, Nai Chakra, the one who transcends the limits of viewpoints. Okay. Just now, as I said, from conventional to real, and then we also leave that real. One who transcends the limits of viewpoints and psychic thoughts leads to self-realization. So when you want to get into self-realization, you have to leave all the viewpoints, because so long the viewpoints are there, you will not able to realize yourself. So there could be a question from you that why use viewpoint in the first place? Because without using viewpoints, you will not be able to understand the soul's nature. So, okay, for understanding the soul's nature, we have to use conventional viewpoint, real viewpoint. But when you want to experience the soul, you have to leave the both and transcend all the limits of viewpoints and get into self-realization. Okay. So this will be the process always. Whenever you will realize yourself, immediately before that, there will be viewpoints going on. I am pure, I am mass of infinite attributes. All those thought activity would be about the soul. And then gradually the thought activity will stop and realization will start. Okay. As in a airport, the runway, the plane first runs on the ground. And when it gets into a motion, right, called inertia of motion, at that time, it removes its wheels from the ground and it starts floating. But before floating, He has to run on the runway. Okay. Similarly, before experiencing yourself, you will have this thought activity about your own soul. I am complete in myself. I am pure. I am uninfluenced. I am a mass of infinite attributes. I am complete in myself. Okay. Whatever you have studied in Jinvani, all those thoughts will come to your mind at that point of time. Okay. But don't be satisfied with that. Transcends all those thought activity. Okay. So the realization will happen and this thought activity will stop. Okay. So this is the process. Now we will read 2 paragraphs more from the textbook and then again come back to 3 missing paragraphs, small paragraphs that I have just shared. We will read it from there only. In the Nai Chakra doctrine of standpoints from the side of the objector, the following argument is presented in favor of the conventional standpoint as being the most venerable. If the vastness of scope is the criteria for being most venerable, then why is the conventional viewpoint characterized by valid knowledge, which includes within itself the real standpoint, conventional viewpoint, and combined standpoint of both, not considered most venerable? Okay, now the 3 paragraphs that I have shared just now. Okay, so here we have to add those 3 paragraphs. Yes, the answer is given that the Vyavharnai possessing the characteristics of Praman cannot lead the soul beyond delusion. Okay, you cannot go beyond delusion. Hence, it is not most venerable. In Nai Chakra, being most venerable is not based on the greatness of the subject, but rather on the ability to go beyond delusion and lead to self-realization. In this way, we see that both statements are appropriate according to their respective context. Now we come back to the textbook again. In the context of Praman, Nai and Nikshep, many extensive treatises have been written on each. I myself have authored a text on Naya's title Param Bhav Prakashak Nai Chakra. So this is Dr. Bharilji talking about his own book. The various types of pramans and nais will be discussed at their appropriate place in the upcoming aphorisms. A is missing, you can write down A. Darshitji, you can add A. Hence, there is no need to elaborate further on praman and nai. So, the coming aphorisms are all about praman and nai. So, it will automatically come. Okay. Now, we are move on to page number 35. Now, you have to refer what I shared today, page number 35 onwards. Okay. Statement on directives. Nirdesh Adika Kathan. So, I told you about 3 solutions, right? First solution is Praman and Nai. For whom it is? It is for those people who have got very little interest. Okay. Then this is the second solution. Statement on directives. Nirdesh Adika Kathan. This is solution number 2 for those people who have got medium interest. And then solution number 3 will also come in the next aphorism, that is aphorism number 8, where we'll be discussing the third level. Okay. Solution number 3, which is for the those inclined towards detailed exposition. Okay. So those inclined towards brevity, the first solution, those of moderate inclination, second solution, and those inclined toward detailed exposition, solution number 3. Okay. So this is solution number 2. The right faith or right belief. Belief is a better word. We have changed it to belief everywhere from faith. So that also you can do it. The right belief, knowledge, and conduct. The three jewels and living would be soul and other elements. Non-living substance you cut down. Soul and other elements are to be known through valid, comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints. Okay. And their practical applications, not dealings, but applications, are carried out through the classifications of nikshapes like name, installation, substance, and the last one was what it was. Bhav nikshep. Last one was bhav nikshep, but in English it is said to be designation by mode. Okay. Designation by mode. Okay. To explain what exactly should be known regarding right faith, etc., the three jewels and the living, that is soul and other elements, the following aphorism has been composed. So again you have to change here. Living and non-living substance would be soul and other elements. Okay. The following aphorism has been compassed. Okay. So this solution number 2 has got 6 components. For the people who have got very little interest, only 2 tools, Praman and Nyay. Okay. For people with medium level of interest, they are being said this 6 things. The truths such as right faith, samyak darshan, and the realities like the soul should be understood through designation, nirdesh, ownership, swamitva, means, sadhan, substratum, adhikaran, duration, sthiti, and system or classification. Okay, Vidhan. The intent is that in order to properly understand the three jewels, right belief, right knowledge, and right conduct, as well as the elements, not substances, but elements like soul, comma, etc., one must comprehend these associated categories. Okay. So these 6 are mentioned here. First one is designation. Refers to the statement or description of the true nature of substance. Now, we have never read about this. It is only in Tattvat Sutra that second level of solution is given. Okay. So, I have never gone deep into this. I am just going through this. Okay. So, this is designation. The second is ownership. Refers to lordship or sovereignty over the substance. The third is means. Refer to the cause or means by which a substance originates. Substratum refers to the base or the supporting locus of the substance. Duration refers to the length of time for which the substance persists. And the last one is classification, refers to the method, types, or elaboration related to the substance. So if you know these 6 things, okay, if you know the substance from these 6 perspective, you will be able to know that substance clearly. Okay. But what we are doing, we are applying Praman and Nyay only, and we are understanding the substance. Okay. So this is not for us. Okay. If one wishes to know or describe any substance, it becomes necessary to understand the following. Now they are giving an example. What is its name? Who is the owner? By what means is it produced? Where does it reside? What is its duration or time limit? And what are its types and subtypes? All of these needs to be known. In the same way, if we want to understand right belief, right knowledge, right conduct, and the tattvas, the elements such as soul, non-soul, influx, bondage, stoppage. So now this chat GPT has given the exact names. soul, non-soul, influx, bondage, stoppage, shedding, and liberation. Then we must know about each of them through these 6 aspects. Okay, so these 6 categories are mentioned. Last one, they have written varieties, but you can write classifications. Okay, Vidhan is classifications, not varieties, but classification. Now, page 36. Statement on existence and number. So now this is solution number 3. Okay, solution number 3. Okay, so this is sutra number 8, aphorism number 8, statement on existence and number. So here again they will show us 8 components. Okay, so initially it was 2, then 6, and now 8. So those who have got very deep interest and those who have got knowledge also to comprehend that, for them this is the third terminology. Okay, so this second and third is never practiced. What we are practicing everywhere is only the first one, Praman and Nay. But Tattva Sutra will mention everything, so we are just reading it. In addition to understanding the designation and other categories related to the right belief, 3 jewels, and the real entities such as soul, etc., one must also know existence, number, and related aspects. Now these are 8 in number. Sat, Sankhya, Kshetra, 3. Sparshan, Kal, Antara, another 3. Bhav, Alpa Bhautsva. So these are total 8. One should also understand the 3 jewels like right belief and etc. and the real substances. Not real substances, but real elements. Like soul, etc. Okay, soul is missing, you can write down soul, etc. From the aspects of existence, number, location, touch, time, distinction, state of condition, and last one is fewness or manyness. The first one, the existence of a substance is called Sat. The count of distinctions or types within a substance is called Sankhya. The current location or abode of a substance is called Kshetra. The location across all 3 times related to a substance is called Sparshan. Below. Yeah. The duration or of stay of a substance is called Kal. The next page. The interval of separation, absence between 2 appearances or existence of a substance is called Antar. The states such as those arising from suppression, destruction, etc. are called Bhav. The description of inferiority or superiority of one substance in comparison to another is called Alpa Bhautva. A possible question may arise here. In the 7th aphorism, the categories such as designation, so here some corrections are there. In the 7th aphorism, the categories such as designation already include existence. Okay. Then classification includes number. Okay. Location includes location, Kshetra and Sparsana, and the topic of duration includes Kal. Therefore, what is the need for 3 separate aphorisms? What is the need for 3 separate aphorisms? Not 2, there are 3 separate aphorisms. Okay. The only answer to the above question is that disciples are of 3 types. Those inclined towards brevity, Sankshipt Ruchi Wale, very brief interest. Okay. So for them, solution number 1, which is Praman and Nay. Those of moderate inclination, Madhyam Ruchi wala, solution number 2. Those inclined towards detailed exposition. This is the last one is the detailed one. For those inclined towards brevity, the knowledge gained through means of valid knowledge and standpoint. Okay, valid comprehensive knowledge and standpoints or viewpoints alone is sufficient. For those of moderate inclination, in addition to Praman and Nay, it is necessary to explain categories like designation, ownership, means, etc. But for those inclined towards detailed understanding, the inclusion of aspects like existence, number is also essential. Therefore, keeping in mind all three types of disciples, three aphorisms have been composed here. Through valid means of knowledge, viewpoints, and the practical application of the four nikshepas, categories of expression, one should understand the right belief, right knowledge, right conduct, as well as the 7 fundamental realities. Okay, soul, non-soul, influx, bondage, stoppage, shedding, and liberation, along with their designation, ownership, etc., and also Sat, Sankhya, and other related aspects. So, solution 2 and solution 3 is also being discussed. Okay, 2 already discussed, now we will discuss the third one. As a result, the reader's knowledge of the realities will become pure and clear and equipped with faith or belief and knowledge in the fundamental realities. Attachment and aversion will be renounced. Okay, so if we know it properly, attachment and aversion will be renounced. That means you trained your knowledge so much that whatever is reflecting in your knowledge screen, okay, you absorbed it. Now supposing you got a news that you have made a loss of 1 lakh rupees. Okay, your husband has made a loss of 1 lakh rupees in business. Now what will happen? If you have trained your knowledge that all the external things are not in our hand, it comes and goes according to our past auspicious and inauspicious karmas. Okay, and this money does not serve any purpose of the soul, and I am the soul, right? If this is the knowledge that you have manifested, okay, you will absorb it. 1 lakh loss, no problem. 10 lakhs profit, no problem. Okay, so you will not feel happy with 10 lakhs profit and you will not feel sad with 1 lakh loss. That is the power of a trained knowledge, and that is precisely what Jinwani is teaching us every now and then, that you equip your knowledge with all the principles, fundamental principles, and you will realize that this the word we just now read, no, attachment and aversion will be renounced. I am reading it again. As a result, just slightly take it down. No, not up. Slightly up. Yes, again I am repeating. As a result, the reader's knowledge of the realities, Tattva Gyan, will become pure and clear. That means your knowledge will become pure and clear and equipped with faith and knowledge in the fundamental realities. Attachment and aversion will be renounced. Okay, no attachment, no aversion. That means detachment. That is called detachment, that is called passionlessness, that is called vitrakta. Okay, so that is our ultimate objective. We trained our knowledge and we get rid of delusion, so right belief will come. We trained our knowledge, and then whatever reflects in it, it will not react, it will absorb everything, and that is what we all are striving to do, no reaction, come what may, because soul is never affected. Okay, soul is never affected. Whether there is an atom bomb or nuclear bomb coming up here and destroying everything, soul is never destroyed. It is eternal. It will end his life here and get birth in another body immediately. So soul is never created, never destroyed. It is eternal. Okay, there is no origin of soul and there is no destruction of soul. Soul is eternal. Okay, so this is how you have to analyze the situations, and this is called discriminative knowledge. Okay, you upgrade your knowledge so that you are able to discriminate between the soul and the non-soul elements. Okay, Bhed Vigyan. Thus, the path of liberation composed of the three jewels will become well established and illuminated. Subjects such as designation and related categories and existence and number are of such depth and importance that great treatises have been composed based upon them. Many scriptures have been written on that. Okay. For instance, on the basis of the existence and numbers aphorism, monumental scriptures like the Sat Khandagam, the first Jain scripture is Sat Khandagam, were written. The very names of its section are also titled accordingly, such as presentation of existence, presentation of number. Next page. A possible question may arise here. In text like Sarvat Siddhi, designation, ownership and existence, number, etc. have been described as upayantara. Upayantara means alternate means. Auxiliary means or alternate means or method of knowing. But from your exposition, it seems as though these are not means of knowledge, but rather they are the entities. Entities means gne. Gne means object of knowledge. Okay, they are the entities that are to be known. The answer is, oh brother, both view are essentially saying the same thing. 1 minute. Okay. Oh brother, where it was? Yeah. Oh brother, both views are essentially saying the same thing. There is no contradiction. But first, you must understand the matter deeply. When we wish to know someone thoroughly, to gain a detailed understanding of a person, we generally decide on certain fixed points or categories of inquiry. Then based on these points, we ask, what is your name? Where do you work? Who is your superior or authority? What are your duties and responsibilities? What is your educational qualification? And so on. In the same way, what is being said here is that in order to gain a proper understanding of the elements like soul, etc. So substances will be elements like soul, etc. and the three jewels of right belief, etc. One must know following key aspects: their name or designation, who possesses them, how they are attained, where they reside, exist, where and for how long they remain, what are their types, distinction and modes. And to gain an even deeper understanding, one must also know their existence, their numbers, etc. By knowing this, we attain a profound comprehension of the three jewels and the seven fundamental realities. In the same way, we should also be aware whether their name is meaningful or merely nominal, naam nikshep, whether they are just a symbol or representative, sthapna nikshep, whether they are eternally so or are changing, dravya nikshep and bhav nikshep. All this knowledge is obtained only through valid means of knowledge, praman, and viewpoints, comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints. Therefore, valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints are the true means of knowing. The remaining matters, such as what right knowledge knows, how it knows, and why it knows, are attributes of the knowable objects. To explain this very point, they are referred to as auxiliary means. Auxiliary means alternate means. In works like Sarvat Siddhi. In works like Sarvat Siddhi. All in all, the clear conclusion is this: the truth-seeking aspirants who desire self-liberation will indeed know, and they will know only through valid knowledge and viewpoints. Okay? So, for a true truth-seeking aspirants like us, only through valid knowledge and viewpoints we can get liberated. They will come to know the fundamental realities like soul, as well as the path to liberation in the form of right belief, right knowledge, right conduct, etc., as expounded through the four niksheps, such as Nam, Sthapna, they will, etc. They will also understand the designation, ownership, means, existence, number, and other aspects of soul, etc., and the three jewels. In this way, the means of knowing is indeed right knowledge in the form of valid comprehensive knowledge and viewpoints. All the rest are merely modes of knowing, attributes of the knowable objects, gnay. This is precisely the intended meaning behind calling them auxiliary means, upay antar, and we too have no objection to stating it in this way. We have said nothing new, only provided a clarification of that very same point. That right knowledge is of 5 types, namely sensory knowledge, scriptural knowledge, etc. Okay, whose discussion will follow sequentially in the upcoming aphorism. This discussion will continue until the end of the section. In the final aphorisms of the chapter, there will also be discussion on the viewpoints. Before that, almost the entire exposition will be in the context of valid comprehensive knowledge. Okay. So now divisions and subdivisions of Praman we are going to discuss. This is from page number 39 onwards, and the sutra numbers are 9 to 32. We are just going to discuss 5 types of knowledge. Okay. Sensory knowledge, scriptural knowledge, clairvoyance, telepathy, and omniscience. Okay, so these are going to be discussed in details. Okay, so we are now starting here. Someone could read it. I think this is quite clear. So Aditi, you only read.
In the 6th aphorism, the discussion of comprehensive knowledge, Praman, and the viewpoint Nyay arose. There it was also clearly stated that right knowledge itself is comprehensive knowledge. That right knowledge is of 5 types, and the discussion of those 5 types is now being taken up in the subsequent aphorism. Sensory knowledge. Mati Gyan. Scriptural knowledge, Shrut Gyan. Clairvoyant knowledge, Avadhi Gyan. Telepathic knowledge, Mahaparyay Gyan.
Manaparyay.
Manaparyay Gyan. And omniscience, Keval Gyan. These are the 5 types of right knowledge. All these 5 types of right knowledge are considered comprehensive knowledge. These 5 types of right knowledge are divided into indirect, paroksh, and direct pratyaksh forms. Among them, the first 2, sensory knowledge and scriptural knowledge, are indirect comprehensive knowledge. The remaining 3, clairvoyant knowledge, telepathic knowledge, and omniscient knowledge, are direct comprehensive knowledge. Knowledge that is dependent on others is called indirect, and knowledge that is self-dependent is called direct. The knowledge that arises with the help of senses, mind, light, etc. is considered indirect knowledge, indirect comprehensive knowledge, because it is dependent. However, the knowledge that does not require the assistance of senses, mind, light, etc. is considered direct comprehensive knowledge. Direct comprehensive knowledge is also of 2 types, based on the distinction between partial and complete directness. Desh Pratyaksh, partial direct knowledge, and Sakal Pratyaksh, complete direct knowledge. Clairvoyant knowledge and telepathic knowledge are considered partial direct knowledge, while omniscience is considered complete direct knowledge. Because they are limited in scope of objects, clairvoyant knowledge and telepathic knowledge are classified as partial direct knowledge, while omniscience, being the knowledge of all knowable entities, is classified as complete direct knowledge. The summary of the 5 types of knowledge is as follows. Sensory knowledge, Mati Gyan, that knowledge of the self which arises from a direct engagement of one's own perceptive mode, Darshan Upyog, turning away from externally dependent intellect, is called sensory knowledge. Alternatively, knowledge that arises with the help of senses and the mind is termed sensory knowledge. Scriptural knowledge, Shrut Gyan, knowledge that is known, that knowledge that knows a new object in relation to something previously known through sensory knowledge, is called scriptural knowledge. Clairvoyant knowledge, Avadhi Gyan, the clear knowledge of material-based objects, material form-based objects directly by the soul without the aid of senses or the mind, is still limited by substance, space, time, and modification, is called clairvoyant knowledge. Telepathic knowledge, Manaparyay Jnana, when a knowledgeable ascetic Muni clearly knows directly through the soul the psychic activity or conceptual objects residing in another's mind without the help of senses or mind, yet within the limitations of substance, space, time, and modes. This is called telepathic knowledge. In the upcoming discussion about clairvoyant knowledge, Avadhi Jnana, and telepathic knowledge, Manaparyay Jnana, in the 26th and the 27th aphorisms, it will be stated that the object of clairvoyant knowledge is material or form-based, Rupi entities, and further it will be discussed that the specific infinitely subtle form-based section of those objects residing in another's mind are the domain of telepathic knowledge. That infinitely subtle segment refers to the psychic thought forms present in the mind of another.
Stop. So up to this only we cover. So there are 2 types of knowledge. One is direct and one is indirect. Direct is called pratyaksh. Okay. So direct means knowing from the space points of soul. Okay. Is called direct knowledge. And indirect knowledge is the knowledge that we gain through senses and mind. So our knowledge, sensory knowledge and scriptural knowledge, is a direct or indirect?
Direct.
No, indirect. Because we
So
are
it's dependent on
dependent on senses and mind. Okay. It is dependent on senses and mind. Okay. Although the knowledge is coming from the soul itself, but we need these 5 senses and mind to know the things. Okay. So, and the direct knowledge is, that is directly knowing without the help of senses and mind, directly knowing from the space points of the soul. Okay. So, clairvoyance and telepathy are partial direct knowledge. Okay. They are not complete direct knowledge. Omniscience is complete direct knowledge, where all the objects of the universe are known. Okay. But clairvoyance knowledge have a limited area of knowing, but he knows that knowledge only knows material object. Now telepathy also knows material object that is being perceived in the mind of others. So you know, if you have a telepathy knowledge, you know what I am thinking right now. Okay, so that is called telepathic knowledge. Who can have telepathy knowledge? Any idea? Sasikala ji must be knowing. Who else know?
Muni should have.
Only the monks. Only the monks. Only the true monks can have telepathic knowledge. True monks. Okay. So those who have got rid of 3 levels, 3 quadruped levels of passions, those monks can have telepathic knowledge, and not all the monks who have got who are true monks will have telepathy knowledge. Only few monks will have this telepathy knowledge.
Can we say Bhavlingi Muni?
Yes, Bhavlingi Muni, right. Hindi word is Bhavlingi Muni. So, but all these two.
Sir, is it at some a stage? I mean, the 14 Gunastan?
No.
No, okay.
So, 6th, 7th stage only they can have telepathy knowledge. Okay. So, these two knowledges, clairvoyance and telepathy, is no use to know the soul, because it knows only material object, and soul is not material object, right? So, soul cannot be known through clairvoyance and telepathy. So, it is not useful to us. We should not feel that, oh, I don't have telepathy and he has got telepathy. But that is no use, because we want to know the soul, and soul cannot be known through clairvoyance and telepathy. Okay. So, for us, we have got sensory knowledge and mind, and this is enough to know the soul. Okay. So, through senses, we cannot know the soul, right? Because through senses, we can know only material objects. But mind is such a medium which knows the material, that which knows the what you called which knows the material object also and non-material object also, mind. Okay. Now the thoughts that are coming, who is knowing it? The mind. It is not material object. Thoughts are not material object, but mind is knowing it. So mind knows both the material objects and non-material objects. And soul is not material object, but non-material object, amurtik, So, inanimate. So, soul can be known through mind. That's why there is a condition. Who can realize himself? Only a person who is having mind, whether he is in any state of existence, whether he is in hell or in heaven or in subhuman state. If he has got a mind, he can realize himself. Okay. And Samyak Darshan can be attained in any of the 4 states of existence. Okay. It is not only that the human can have right belief, even animals are having right belief. Okay. People in hell can have right belief, manifest right belief, and heavenly beings also can manifest right belief. Okay. So, this clairvoyance and telepathy is no use as far as the experience of the self is concerned. And so sensory and scriptural knowledge is the indirect knowledge that we have, and direct knowledge is clairvoyance, telepathy, and omniscience. So omniscience is the knowledge that knows everything, and that we are going to discuss tomorrow. From there only we will start. We'll close it. You can read the few pages more also for tomorrow's class, then you will understand better. All these we have studied in the past in the Vitrag Vigyan 1 also, this sensory knowledge, scriptural knowledge. So you have a roughly an idea, and it is also very self-explanatory. Still, if you have any questions, you can ask, and we will take this further tomorrow. Okay. So I have released LCPA also. Life-changing practical applications. These 3 questions, you can write it down and send me through mail, or you send me through mail also, and you can upload on Moodle also. Alternatively, if you are not keen on writing it, you can just voice message it to me also. Okay, as you feel like, it's your convenience. I'm okay with both. Okay, so the last date for that is 1st July. So you can start doing it right now. Those who have completed CC3, they can start doing that, and those who have not completed CC3, first they should complete CC3, and then they can do these questions also. Very easy. And I think with that, we have completed all the assignments for this semester. Now only objectives that we will do in July. Okay, first week July, post first week July, you can attempt the objectives, and your 5th semester will be done. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow and continue from here further. निज निधि निज में बताई, यह अनंत उपकार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना 7 बार है, उसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ